Hello, buddy. Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another coaching session. I'm the Strategy Professor, and this is going to be for a Bronze 5 Soraka player. So thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you, Ace DJ, for your generous donation. If you want more videos like this, in the description to the Google Doc, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com if you want your own coaching session. If you want to see more videos like this, there's a link to the coaching playlist. And if you want to know more about specific champion guides, there is a Soraka guide in there as well as others. And I have the champion guide linked as well. As usual, you can skip around straight to the game start time in the description or to the post game if you want to hear about that in the description. And you can access this Google Doc in the description itself. Okay, so because this is a normal game, I can't really get access to runes and masteries used because there is no item button here. There's just team analysis. So I'm just going to tell you what would be ideal, and then if he or she got close to that, it's a he. I believe if he got close to that, then that's good. If not, this is something that you can work on. Okay, number one, don't forget control words. So nobody on your team bought a control word. Only two people, or only the Karma on the enemy team bought 2 control words. So you got to make sure you're buying control words. They are paramount for controlling vision and getting a 4th ward on the map. So you really should be getting about 10 of these per game. I know that sounds expensive, that's 750 gold, but you got to remember you're going to be getting some gold back from killing wards by doing that, and you actually generate gold for your team by getting kills and denying kills to the enemy team. So, you know, you will actually gain, every time that you cause a kill, it's about 450 gold. Your team will get the kill as 300 gold, and then someone will get an assist for 150 on average. So, you know, if even throughout an entire game, you know, a 40-minute game, if you just spot some people and either get kills or deny gold, every time someone sees an enemy on a ward and backs up a little bit and doesn't get caught, that also saves your team 450 gold. So that only has to happen twice for it to be worth it for you to get 10 control wards throughout a game. And it will definitely happen more than twice. As far as normal wards, you want to try to get 1 per minute. I can't see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you had 16 in that game, so you want to try to place much, much more than that. You always want 3 down at all times once you get your sightstone. So just make sure that you always have 3 on the map somewhere. Even if they're not in the most optimal places, they need to be down watching something. And oftentimes in fights, you'll need to just throw them down really quick, like over walls or just in a bush where somebody's retreating. You know, there are a lot of times you just have to drop wards in a fight just to get better vision of an area. But it should be at least 1 per minute. Sorry, I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm just eating a couple of chips here. For red, you want armor runes. That helps you the most with defense. You can go spell penetration runes, but those quickly become invalidated because you're not going to be building a bunch of AP on her. Yellow, flat HP yellows. If you don't have the gold for flat HP yellows, they are expensive. They're 820 gold a piece. You can run flat armor. Just about as good. For blue, I would run AP Quints, or AP Blues, and then AP Quints as well. This just gives your heals a little bit more punch early on. It also helps your Q do a bit more damage, and it gives you more healing off of your Q. So, this is the setup I recommend. If you want to try out some different stuff, I think that move speed is viable on her to help keep her safe. For the Quints, you could also do armor Quints if you'd like. As far as blues, you can do magic resist if you're against the heavy AP lane, or you could do maybe like cooldown reduction, although you're going to get quite a bit of cooldown reduction from your build, but you can do CDR on your blues if you want. Overall, pretty good looking build. I would favor getting Eye of the Oasis. I mean, Talisman's okay. You shouldn't need the tanky stats and the health regen that much, though. The passive's obviously pretty good, the Point Runner and the active. They're both good. But if you get Eye of the Oasis, that's 4 wards faster. And that saves up an item slot for the 4 big items that you're going to want on Soraka most of the time, which is Ardent Censer, Redemption, Mikhail's, and Athene's Unholy Grail. These are kind of the 3 core items on Soraka. You really want these virtually every game. If the enemy has any kind of crowd control whatsoever, Mikhail's is just awesome for the cleanse ability. And then Ardent Censer, of course, is core on every enchanter. Redemption is pretty core as well. And Athene's Unholy Grail is something that I like to get quite a lot. It has some anti-synergy with Mikhail's because it will reduce, or will remove Mikhail's passive, but it's still worth it because it gives you a ton of AP, which translates into more healing. And you do pretty decent unmitigated damage in fights. It's like 230 per Q in the late game when you hit it, and you can hit multiple people with Qs. So that's quite a bit of healing. So you'd be surprised how powerful Athene's can be. Warmogs is an option once you get to like level 13 or 14 and you get your Redemption. And I guess that's what you were probably building towards with your Ruby Sightstone plus Redemption. You're going to get Warmogs. It's okay. It's okay. I would say if you can reposition, it's better just to get more plus healing. So you have to remember a lot of the time, maybe not this game, but there will be some games where people get Executioner's Calling. Karma did get a Morellonomicon, but especially once you start working your way up in ELO, you know, to higher bronze and maybe low silver, people will start getting Executioner's Calling, and you really, really have to have as much plus healing as you can possibly get so you can heal through that. So even if they're cutting your healing in half, it's still going to be relatively effective. So that's what I would recommend. So yeah, Warmogs is okay. It doesn't directly buff your healing. Just if you go outside of combat, it does heal you. So it's okay if they have like unavoidable damage. You know, if they have like a Zed or a Karthus or something like that, it can be pretty good for staying alive. Most of this is relatively unavoidable, or avoidable rather, except for like if Master Yi wants to run at you, that can be difficult to deal with. But everything else is pretty avoidable. So I don't know. We'll see how the game unfolds, but I would say in general, it's also an expensive item. It's like 3,000 gold. All of these items are around between 2,100 and 2,300. I think all of them are 21, except for Ardent Censer, which is 23. So these are just much, much better bargains most of the time. Okay. Pre-game, I would say just farm out the lane. You scale a lot harder, so there, you know, the pressure's really on them to force you to do something. Or to engage onto you, rather, because if you just farm out, you're probably going to win. Now, Jinx is an immobile 80 carry against a Leona Varus, so you might want to consider getting Mikhail's pretty early in this game. I mean, I might even get it before Ardent Censer. I don't know. Ardent's really good. We'll see how they're doing. If she's getting caught a lot by Jinx E's or by Leona E's, that's what you might have to do. I mean, Ardent's really good, but you can't do any. Your Jinx can't do any damage if she's dead. So, you know, some damage is better than no damage. So, having Mikhail's might be a necessity. So yeah, speaking of wishes, watch out for those Leona engages. Make sure if she does engage, if she hits the Jinx, not you, you cannot let her hit you, because you can't heal yourself. If they hit Jinx, you can silence her and probably heal through most of it in the early to mid game. Then just drop the silence. Try to Q the Jinx or try to Q the enemy if you can, the Varus. Q the Varus if you can. If you can't, just hit the Leona. Just try to land your Q, because that's going to make your heals more impactful. And we'll explain that when we get into the game, if you're not doing that already. Okay, so watch out for Master Yi ganks. Try to get a ward on Dragon fairly early if you can. Master Yi can do it starting around level 4 if he builds correctly. And if he farms really well. If Warwick's on your side of the map, you can push the wave with Q. Help him lose a little minions to the tower. Maybe bait Master Yi into coming down and trying to gank because you're pushed up. Warwick can maybe counter gank. That might take a little too much coordination. For, you know, the people that might be in this game, but it is an option that's on the table. Yeah, they don't have a great way to engage on you, so you should try to team fight at the end of the game. Soraka's not a very good split pusher. She's not a very good roamer, but she's an excellent team fighter. do you want to get your team together to team fight? You do not want to split push them because their Yi is probably going to be the strongest one-on-one character later in the game. I guess it's possible Urgot could be. I'm not entirely sure about his power and scaling. I don't think he outscales a Yi late game, but anyways, let's go ahead and get in there. So that's all I have for you. So I'm going to take a lot of notes here, and then I'll explain it all as I watch, and then as the game concludes, then I will recap all the notes at the end for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
What am I doing? I'm pressing like, okay, go.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Okay.
Yes, that was
Minions have spawned.
No one expects the banana. I will not.
If you started heal, that's okay. Warwick doesn't really need that at the start, so you could be using your Q and hit the minions to push it so you hit level 2 faster. But I assume you probably started Q. Yeah, you gotta stay out of that bush. At least away from a Leona Q range. Especially once they hit level 2. So, you can predict when the enemy's going to hit level 2. It's whenever they get to the melee minions on the second wave. So let me put that here for you. Because they killed you right when they hit level 2, I think. That's a very, very common all-in strategy. I'm going to pause it. How did they hit level 2, actually? Let me see. You see, it looks like you're pushing it faster. Did y'all miss a wave? Oh, let me see this. Did they just start farming right away at the beginning and y'all missed a wave or something? Is that what happened? Yeah, that's what happened, I think, right? Yep. Y'all missed those 3 minions. That's a big deal, actually. You really, really don't want to be late to lane that late. Because now you're half a wave behind. And level 2 is the most dangerous point in the game for a lot of people because they have 2 skills, you have 1, and they have a lot more stats. Like, their leveling up is probably going to give them, you know, 80 to 100 health, depending on the champion. And so they're going to have, like, 20% more health than you and 1 more skill than you have. And they're going to have extra AD, extra armor. They're just going to be a lot better. So that's a very common power spike that people will do, is they'll try to all-in you at level 2, especially with Leona. Leona has an excellent level 2. So you have to understand the matchups well enough to know that once they hit level 2, they're extremely dangerous because of Leona. And Jinx doesn't have a very dangerous level 2. All she gets is Chompers, and Soraka doesn't either. All she's going to get is her Q. So you guys are very, very vulnerable to level 2. So let's see. One thing that I will say here is... and that wouldn't have happened if you were on time. So how it works, level 2 is when the second wave comes up, when the melee minions on the second wave die, that's when a lane will hit level 2, assuming they get all of the experience in lane. So as soon as you see that the enemy is going to kill that third minion on the second wave, before you kill the third minion, then you know they're going to hit level 2 before you, and you need to run. A lot of times, higher level players will start running at you right before they're about to kill that last minion. So you need to Sometimes they'll even try to push you out before that. So you need to make sure that you're ready for that. And sometimes you might just have to back up and just lose a couple of CS because you just can't let them get that advantage on you. Once they kill that, they're hitting level 2. See how that's... Once they kill these 2, they're going to hit level 2, so it's a second wave. Once that dies, they're level 2. Okay, so alarm should be going off in your head right now. I don't see Leona. There's probably a very high probability she's going to be at the edge of this. Actually, you know 100% she's at the edge of it because she just touched a minion, so you see her in this bush. Because I have it on just blue vision. Right? Yeah. So you 100% know that she's there because you can see her right now. Yeah, you do not want to get caught here. She doesn't have Ignite, but still. So once that dies, it's going down. No, no, no. Okay, there it is. They just hit it, see? You guys haven't hit it yet because you missed your first 3 minions. You have to hit these 3 and then you'll get it. That's why you die. You should be running right now. Yeah, once they're level 2, you can't fight. They're way too strong. You have to run once they hit level 2. Okay, so care for level 2 all in. Stay out of Leona range. Yeah, you have to play really, really far back. Just toss Qs at her if you want. You're probably not going to do enough damage to her to matter in the early game. If you can hit Varus, fine. What did he start with? He started Doran's Shield. You're not going to harass Varus either. You're pretty much just going to have to sit here and play Farmville, probably. I mean, you can throw some Qs for funsies if you want, but you're not going to do anything to them early game. It's just not how Soraka works in this lane. Okay. Yeah. You can push the wave with your Q if you want. I would go ahead and push it here. So how you do that is you just use your Q to hit these minions. Okay, so get that coin, and then as soon as this pops up, use your Q on the minions. Back line, right here. Hit this with 2 Qs right now. Okay, there you go. Hit it with another round. Okay, good. Warwick's on top of it. It's good that he got that particularly because now you don't have to worry about Warwick getting it because your Sightstone's going to be delayed. Speaking of which, what'd you buy? Okay, that's fine. You didn't really have much to buy. You died at level 1. Okay. You should be backing. Yeah, Jinx needs to back right now. You need to ping her back. Well, it's kind of too late. What did he buy? Boots and dagger. Yeah, cue this. Watch out for that. Yeah, you really can't let her do that. If she's walking up on you like that, you need to use your silence field. If she gets too close. I mean, she's not a very tricky champion. You gotta, you gotta just respect her, right? Like I said in the pregame, now Jinx is gonna die trying for this probably. Like I said in the pregame, the one thing that can't happen in this lane is she's gonna die. You see how she's taking these minion hits? She's got to run or she's gonna die. If she engages on Jinx, fine. You can heal Jinx, but you can't really heal yourself very well at this point in the game. So you just have to stay really, really far back. Like, really far back from Leona. And if she just, whatever that means is whatever that means. Especially once they're up a couple of kills. So, if she runs you all the way back to the tower, you gotta go all the way back to the tower. Like, you just have to make her go on Jinx first. Now, if she fights you in a pack of your own minion waves, you might be able to deal with it. You need to drop a silence field on yourself immediately if she does hit you with an E. And exhaust her. I'm not sure if it was on cooldown for the last fight, but if it's off cooldown, you need to exhaust her if she engages on you immediately. Don't do it. Leave that coin. Leave that coin. Don't do it. Don't do it. She's gonna do it. Okay. Silence field, silence field, silence field. Heal, heal. So as soon as she goes in, like that, you need to silence field her immediately so that she can't flash out. And then you need to Q the Varus and then heal Jinx. You need to try to land Qs. You might need to heal and then Q the Varus while your heal's on cooldown, but the thing about your heal is if you land a Q, it increases the amount that your heal does. It creates a heal over time, a hot, based on your rank in Q. But it's pretty significant even with one rank on it. You know, it's like an extra 40 healing or something over 40 seconds. I don't know how much AP you're running. Some. Okay, so you have like AP Quints probably. It's a pretty good chunk of healing. So if we look at this, Star Call champion gains rejuvenation for 4 seconds. So that heals for like 55 extra healing. This right here only heals for 150. So it's a third extra healing. It takes it from 150 healing to 200 healing if you land your Q first before you heal. Okay, so y'all need to back really far up right now. You guys are very far behind. You need to understand the game state. You have to start playing differently depending on if you're ahead or behind. And right now, you need to leave. She's going to die. Healer. Oh, you don't have any mana left. How'd you use all your mana? Just casting Star Calls on waves or something. Okay, so I'll say use Q. Okay, I assume he missed his ult. I would watch my Soraka guide if you haven't watched it already. It'll explain a lot of this stuff, like using your Q before the W, positioning in fights. You need to start saving your mana. You need to be careful to get that coin, and then save your mana. Don't push anymore. You guys actually don't want to push in this lane right now. No, 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 no. You're burning all your mana. Like, what happens when Leona hits 6 and goes all in on you? You're full health. You don't need the healing off the Q. You're not really damaging him because he has Door and Shield. You might actually be healing him more than you're damaging him, honestly. Because Jinx is getting too close. You need to hold mana. No, 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 no. You need to hold that silence for when Jinx hooks Leona. That's really your only defense. It's not even much of a defense, but it's something. Your Qs just don't do anything. And certainly don't use your silence. So I'll say... hold silence for Leo engage. And, yeah, don't just randomly throw out your silence. Like, you need to save it for when people are going to be still for a while, or when you need them not to. Like, right there would be perfect on Leona. Like, after she gets hooked, like, or right there, so she can't flash. Like, your number one use of silence is to stop people from flashing. That's what you need to be thinking of. If it's a time when people want to flash, that's when you want to silence. So right there, when they're caught, you silence them so they can't flash. Also, if they're crowd controlled by like a Warwick or a Jinx Chomper or something like that, they can't run out of it as easily, so you're more likely to get the root. I guess you're okay against Yi. You've got exhaust. You gotta be a little scared whenever you're pushing like this. The jungler might come. Keep getting it. Keep hitting it. Keep hitting it. You need to make sure you get this right now. Okay, run. Y'all need to run. See how you're always so low on mana? A lot of this is because you're just, like, throwing random silences and Qs, you know? Like, I understand you're trying to push the wave a little bit or do some incremental damage. Just feel like you're active as Soraka, right? Because I know sometimes it can feel like you just sit there. But honestly, you need to just sit there a lot of the time. And not, like, once your mana pool gets down to, like, 50%, you need to hold your mana. It's really hard to run out of mana, especially with mana coins. They are nerfing them next patch. They're doing exactly what I said they should do. Just by the way, I said if they want a nerf coin, they should knock it down to 10%. Missing instead of 15, and that's what they're doing. Okay, he's gonna get this for you. But yeah, in general, just use your spells a lot less in lane. What did you buy? You need to be rushing Eye of the Oasis. Nah, I really don't like Talisman here. It's okay, I understand, you know, like, Leona keeps getting you, and so you want a little bit more safety. But I think that a big part of it is just staying back, like, really, really far back. And I know that that's, like I said, I know supports sometimes get a bad rap for staying back. Like, oh, it's this AFK support in the back. People may have raged at you in the chat for that. Or you might hear, like, your friends or other people say, like, you should be more active, you should have presence. I mean, that's a famous saying from Afromu, who's a pro support player for CLG, that you want to have presence as support. And that's true on a lot of supports, but you need to dial back your presence. Because, first of all, having presence does not mean creating vulnerabilities for yourself, right? It's measured aggression, okay? And with Soraka, it needs to be very measured. Like, Soraka is not an aggressive champion most of the time, right? Like, if you want to harass, you can do it with Q in lane, but as I explained, in this particular lane, you don't want to do that. Because Varus had a Doran shield, and Leona has Relic shield, so you're just not going to do enough harass. And Jinx wasn't really harassing either. So you're just not doing enough harass for it to matter. You're better off just maxing your W and just chilling in lane. Chilling is fine as long as it's a deliberate choice. If you're thinking, okay, we scale better, we don't have a good matchup here, we're just going to have to farm it out, right? So I hate it when people say, I'm just going to farm. That's one of my least favorite phrases. But with Soraka, honestly, that's just what you have to do a lot of times. Let him die. Okay, good. Not good that he's dead, but good that you're not following him and getting baited into that. He's probably going to question mark you or rage at you, like, where's team? But you can't help that. One thing with Soraka is you just cannot... You can't get baited into bad situations. Speaking of which, you need to get Boots of Swiftness, like, quickly. I would have gotten Boots of Swiftness instead of this, Raptor Cloak here. Because you have to be able to reposition. Especially against a Leona, you've got to dodge her E. You can zone back from her E and, like, not get in range of it a lot, but you have to dodge her ult. And that's a bit harder. That has a lot of range. You can't stay that far back. Okay. Just hanging out. Watch your mana again. You do have Water Dragon, but... hit the back line if you're going to hit anything. Thanks for the sub. Okay, we're going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Farming off. This is fine, there's no dragon. They're all accumulating middle. You need to get there. No, you don't want to do it this way, because they're going to grab middle, and then they're going to rotate over and kill both of you. Or they're just going to keep pushing middle and get a tier 2. The mid lane is shorter. You don't want to trade a side lane for mid lanes. Mid lane towers are the most important. And now they have the option. See how they're moving on this map here right now? They're coming over. Well, now they're slowed down. But Leona's coming, and probably their mid laner's going to roll up here in a second. And you guys are not very strong in a 2-on-2. So if Leona plus whoever their mid laner is shows up. Okay, it looks like it's just... I mean, heck, even Leona's forcing you off. I don't think she has anyone with her. unfortunately. But, like, mid lane could have had multiple people coming over. And she's just kind of lost her mind here. She's out of mana. Like, y'all kind of lucked out there, honestly, that she didn't have any friends with her. What is she building? I don't know. It looked like she did some pretty decent damage. Okay. Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds, so you need to be thinking, I need to get over here and ward this. You need to ward here, here, and pink this. And probably ward here. Set up for Dragon. Yeah, so you need to be... I'm calling them pinks, control wards. They used to be pinks, but now they're reds, I guess. I would get Boots of Swiftness over Ionian. This does give you extra smites, but you really need that move speed to reposition, especially since, you know, you've gotten caught by a couple of Leona things. You need to be real with yourself and just be like, you know, maybe I'm off my game, a little tired, or this Leona is just really good at aiming these or something, but Leona's just hitting you too much to get Ionian Boots. And I would get Swiftness, even if she wasn't hitting you a lot, I would still get Swiftness on Soraka, specifically because she doesn't have many escapes. And they're going to target you. Silence field, there you go. That was good. Hang out in the back. Try to land some Qs. Too close, too close, too close. Back up. Okay, good silence. Okay, yeah. Grab drag. Did he just randomly flash? I think he accidentally flashed. Siege that. Run this. Let me back up here and see what that was. Okay, so I'm going to say, defend mid tower, care for rotations. They could have rotated and killed both of you if they wanted to, but they didn't. It was just Leona. Okay. Yeah, y'all need to leave. Y'all need to leave. You have no vision on these flanks. Master Yi came out that way, but what if he came out the side way and Leona engaged on you? Like that. Like, if Master Yi didn't come straight out this way, if he flanked like he should be doing, then you probably would have died. Or if Rek'Sai flanked. Yeah, you need wards on your flanks. If you're going to push up like that, which I wouldn't recommend if there's just two of you, you need to at least ward here and, like, ward over here somewhere. You're really late on your Ardent Sensor because of Talisman and Ruby. Well, you don't even have Ruby yet. Push middle. No. Yeah, no vision of anybody here. There could have been 4 people in this bush. You need to get vision before you push up. You need to back up right now. There's just 2 of you. You see, you have 3 in plain sight. Now, they don't have very good engage, which is very fortunate for your team. Like, Leona's their only engage. Back up, back up. Okay. There's gate. Okay, yeah, you can join this. Be careful. There's 1 top. You could run into a 4v3 here. Keep spamming your heal. In team fights, you just constantly want to hit enemies with Qs and then just spam your heals. Remember, you want to try to hit with Qs first so that you get extra heal. Alright, she just lost her mind. Ward does. Ward does. I'm going to say ward flanks more. Okay.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Urgot's just splitting. You need to try to give Urgot some, give him some vision. Since he likes to split so much. Y'all need to back up. You need to back up. You're here it's too long. You probably have a lot of gold. Just ping people back. Back, 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 back. Get out of there. Get out. Ping them back. You need to buy. I mean, y'all might be able to pull it off just because you're so far ahead right now, but in general, you need to leave right now and go buy things. And then have Urgot reset, push out bottom, and then prepare for this dragon in 40 seconds. What kind of dragon is it? Earth Dragon. You need to get all of the free stuff, and that's going to be free, but not if you lose. If you stay here and they catch you and fight you, they're going to get the free dragon. You need to ping people back. You also don't have any mana. Okay, they backed, finally. But that's, you know, 30 seconds too late. Okay. And you might say, well, your team's there, so you want to stay there too. And that's true, but that's why you need to ping. You need to ping people back and then ping your gold. And just let them know, oh yeah, I've got a lot of gold too, because people won't realize it. They'll just look down and see, oh, I've got 3,000 gold. You know, but after you get like 1 tower and certainly 2 towers, which is what you did there, you got this one and top tower, you really need to go back and buy. Because everyone's going to have a lot of gold.
A summoner has reconnected.
Okay. So what you want to do now, and you're late to this dragon because you didn't back in time, so they could have rushed it if they really wanted to while y'all backed. Okay, you see Vera's top, that's a free dragon. So go over here, ward this, drop a pink, ward this, and then do dragon. No, not Baron, dragon. No. Okay, well get Scuttle. No, like your Jinx is AFK. And your Syndra. Man, and they just warded it. You have to stop immediately. As soon as they ward it, you gotta stop. No one's dead on their team. I mean, Leona's just not paying attention, I guess. I don't know, like... Yeah, there's Yi, and he's gonna steal it, probably. Yeah. Yeah, you cannot do that. Cannot do that. Yes, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna explain. There's several problems with that. Y'all killed him. You might kill her. I mean, you are making some good plays, so I don't want to take away from, you know, what you do have going on. You have landed some good silences. You've, you know, had some good heals in this game. But I just want to say, you know, that a lot of this game is they're making, like, big mistakes also to keep you guys in this game. And that's going to happen quite a lot. But I think it's important to say that because I know that sometimes when you win a game like this, you may not really go back and think about it that much. I mean, obviously you are because you're asking me for coaching. So thank you. But you need to keep in mind that sometimes your team wins because the other team loses. And you could still make a lot of mistakes and win. This happens with me sometimes too. But you need to understand some of these things aren't optimal choices, and obviously that's why I'm pointing them out. So if it was if the other team was paying attention a little bit more, they would punish you harder for some of these things. But okay, so why is that Baron call? Why was the Baron call bad there, and like what were your other choices? So Baron in general is a trap, particularly at like bronze and silver. There's a lot of really bad Baron calls because people it's just like this carrot dangling on a stick, and people don't think about the risk. It's a very, very risky move to do Baron. So in order to do Baron, typically you will want 1 or 2 people dead. It depends on what their team is. If they have a lot of area of effect damage, sometimes even if they just have Brand and like 1 other person up, or just Lux and 1 other person, or Ziggs, you can't really do Baron because they could threaten it. Or if they have something like a Nunu or a Cho'Gath who has a last hit that's heavier than a Smite, right? So Cho'Gath can flash the pit and then consume plus Smite and steal it instantly. Or, did I say Nunu or Cho'Gath? Both of them can do that. Use either their ultimate or their Q and then Smite, depending on the champion. So you need to understand the team comp and what they could do. They don't have any good Baron stealers. They don't have a lot of area of effect, sort of heavy area of effect damage, but all 5 of them are alive. You didn't have a control ward here, so in order to do Baron, first of all, you need to think of the team comp, which I just mentioned. This is okay to try to Baron against this comp, in theory. But you have to have a control ward here, make sure there's no vision, and then if you're on blue side, you need to have a ward here and here, so that you can see when they're coming over if they try to come over and contest it. If they're aiming to contest it, you need to stop. A lot of times, do not trust your jungler on a 50-50 smite. If they're aiming to contest it, and they're just standing there and they're going to drop a ward and jump in with a blast plant or something, especially with a blast plant, because then they don't even have to waste their flash for it. So you need to knock out this blast plant too if you can before you do a Baron. But it has to be prepped. It has to have a control ward. You need to have Scuttle dead, and you need to have a ward here and here at a minimum. And then probably down here too, depending on how they're positioning. But generally you want at least 2 people dead, 1 to 2 people dead, and or if you see 1 or 2 people bottom. So if you see like 3 people bottom farming this, or their jungler's bottom farming this, then you maybe can rush it down. It depends on how fast your team does it. Your team does not do it very quickly. Warwick does Baron fairly quickly. Jinx does it fairly quickly. But also you had Jinx and Syndra in base. Definitely don't do it if you have like 3 people, unless those 3 people are like a hyper-fed Master Yi, like Kled, and some other heavy, like Cassiopeia, heavy objective-taking champ. So you didn't have all your people there.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So anyways, that's why. There were a lot of bad decisions. The correct decision was to get Dragon because that was free. They weren't going to contest you for Dragon. You can kill it a lot faster, and it's not the end of the world if they steal it if you get multiple kills for it. Okay, yeah, you all need to leave. This is the second time y'all have done something super dangerous while there's not people here. Like, there's... Warwick and Syndra aren't here. Okay, so... Now, this is one thing that, you know, you gotta understand, and this is something that sometimes I'm guilty of too, where a fight will break out. Now, you guys opted into that. They did not engage on you. You walked right up into their base. I mean, I guess maybe they did, but you shouldn't be that close. An argument, you know, you can make an argument, well, should Warwick be there instead of soloing Dragon? Answer is yes. I mean, y'all should have all gone to go do the Dragon. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what someone should or should not or like supposed to be doing or whatever. You have to think about actuality. So if they're not there for whatever reason, even if they're just off getting wolves or something, just something completely random and ridiculous on the map, you have to wait on them. You cannot fight until they get there. Like, that's it. You know, maybe they should have been with your team instead of getting wolves. Probably true. But, like, again, y'all are way too far up. They have a Leona. They don't have a lot of engage, but they do have some. Yeah, y'all were way too far up when Syndra and Ergon aren't there. Now Yi can run you down too if he has superior numbers on his side. Ergon should leave this alone. He's just gonna die. No, guys, it's 3v4, yeah. Yeah. You need a Mikhail's Crucible right now. People just keep getting caught in the crowd control. You need to be able to cleanse, like a Varus ult or a Leona ultimate or whatever. Like you need Mikhail's. Just practice using that item. Now I recommend don't get more than 2 activatable items. It's just too much to keep up with. So I would not do Talisman, and I would instead do Redemption and Mikhail's. Ardent Sensor is also huge. Jinx has, 7 of your kills. If you had an Ardent Sensor on her, every time you heal her, she's just going to do, like, a ton of damage. Okay. Y'all need to group. Everybody's way too spread out. You need to group. People just keep getting caught, so when that happens, you have to group. You don't have a good skirmishing team. You don't want to be running around, like, doing little 2-on-2s. You need to be grouped as 5. Okay, you don't have a good collapse team either. You're going to have to fight with Ergot, though, or he's going to die. You get up there and heal him. That'd be a good time to silence. I don't know if it's back up yet or not. There you go. Yeah, when Varus wants to flash, remember, just think, do they want to flash right now? And that's when you want to silence. Okay. Push up middle. Let's go get inhibitor. I mean, you don't even need minions. They have no tower. You could just go get it right now. They had 3 people dead. Just walk up and get it. Throw more heals, throw more heals. Alright, pretty good redemption there. Heal. Heal her, heal her, heal her. Oh, his W causes Grievous wounds, I suppose. Okay. I was like, how does she have Grievous on her? I think it's his W. His little hail of arrows or whatever. Okay, y'all need to be thinking dragon. It's up in 14 seconds. Even though it's just water, like, you have map advantage. It's free. Just always get the free stuff. If there's an easy tower or an easy dragon, just get it. That's suicide. Yeah, you need to direct your team more. Yeah, basically Warwick got picked off, and everyone else just kind of piled in one-on-one. Or just one at a time.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Y'all win just on these minions because they don't back.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Alright. What, I mean, where's their team? Okay, they all finally went back. Now, once again, everyone's off doing their own thing. You need to be pinging. Okay, finally somebody's pinging. Get everybody together. You need to ward this right now. Ward this, ward this. She's flanking you right now. Like, you guys are about to die. You gotta watch out for these flanks. I mean... He and, Rex, I really want to flank. Okay, looks like you might actually win the game here, probably. Alright. Y'all basically won. A lot of this is you just have more powerful champions right now. I mean, both teams could definitely optimize their decisions, but you just have a Jinx and they have a Varus, and I think that's a big part of it. If both teams are just staying there auto-attacking, you know, the highest scaler is going to win. Okay. Let's bring it all together. So remember, the third melee creep on the second wave is when you hit level 2. So if you are, especially if you're Soraka versus Leona, that's extremely dangerous. You need to be very defensive and just run away if you're not going to hit level 2 first. Or even if you are going to hit it at about the same time as her, you probably still need to run away. However, if you're on the aggressive end, if you are the Leona, you should use that to your advantage. Hit level 2 and then all in before they do. But yeah, be careful of the level 2 all in. So stay out of engage ranges. So this game, it was with Leona, but you just got to understand, like, what's the threat? What can engage, what can kill me, and how can I stay out of that? And I think that, yeah, just playing way further back. You know, if they engage on Jinx, that's fine. It's not great, but it's okay because you can silence the Leona and just heal Jinx out of it. But it's a pretty tough lane. For Soraka in general, you just have to play a million miles back, but that's just what you have to do. Use Q before W. This will give you a ton of extra healing. So I showed you the math there. If you check out my Soraka guide, then you can see exactly how much that ends up being. But it's typically about a third extra healing, which is a big, big deal. And that extra healing is also modified by all of your plus healing and by AP. So it starts to scale really, really big, you know, as the game progresses. So you want to make sure that you're landing your Q before you use W, especially in lane, so that you're getting the maximum amount out of your heal. Hold your silence to counter engages or deny flashes. Okay, so a lot of times you're just kind of randomly throwing out your E for like a little bit of damage poke or something like that. You don't want to do that. You want to hold it until someone engages on you like the Leona, or until it's an all-in fight and they're going to want to use an ability or a summoner spell. So it's just like right when like Varus stepped on those chompers was a good a good example. So he couldn't flash immediately afterwards. And if they're caught on crowd control, then that means that they're more likely to get binded by your E and not just silenced. So try to use that to your advantage. So don't just spam your E. Make sure you're using it at an appropriate time to deny them, excuse me, from doing something that they want to do. Okay. Just in general, use spells less in lane. Preserve mana. There are some matchups where you can harass people out potentially with Soraka Qs if you get a couple of points in Q. But in this meta where people are going to have Doran Shield a lot, if they have a Doran Shield, it's just not worth it. They're just going to heal through virtually anything that you do. Or if it's a champion that's going to get a Blade of the Ruined King, like a Twitch or a Callista or something like that, they're just going to heal through your poke once they get their Vamp Scepter. So, you know, sometimes you just have to sit there and farm. Like, just let your person farm. You know, what you can do to be more active is just watch the map, ping stuff, just inform people, like, hey, the jungler's here, be careful. Or, you know, hey, this is going on, hey, that's going on. You know, just try to call out stuff to your team to make productive use of your time. But sometimes you just can't fight in lane, and this is one of those times where you just kind of have to chill and preserve your mana. You can use your Q to push a little bit, but remember that Leona wants you to push because that allows her to engage on you. If you're close to your tower, she can't engage or she's going to take a lot of tower shots. So especially once you fall behind in the lane after you got caught a couple of times, you need to let them push into you. Just to have that tower to protect yourself. So I'm going to say defend mid tower rather than split a side lane. So Jinx and you were splitting a side lane and they were pushing up middle. They could have gotten a second tower middle if they wanted, or all three of them could have rotated to kill you. They didn't do that. But they could have. So you want to anticipate that after bot tower goes down, everyone's going to rotate middle. That's the most common rotation in the whole game, is bot tower down, everybody middle. So you need to go middle and just let Jinx farm bottom up until the river, and then tell her to back up and go do jungle or something. But you need to be in the middle lane, helping defend middle most of the time, or warding various places around the map, trying to get Rift Herald, trying to contest for dragons, and things like that. Which brings me to my next point. Ward much, much more. Watch my Vision Domination video. It's on the main channel. I'll go ahead and link it really quick for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll just throw this in there. Watch this and figure out how and where to ward. There we go. But yeah, you need to be warding much, much more and just setting up and helping your team anticipate and secure objectives. So that could be dragons, it could be Baron, it could be controlling the red buff, it could be helping your Urgot get vision for a split push, but there needs to be a lot more careful consideration of your warding and just a lot more wards just dropped on the map. You know, you should be getting one normal ward per minute and you know, at least 10 vision wards in a game is what you need to aim for. You may not always get that, but aim for that, and then if you only get like 6 or something, that's fine. But you want more than 0. Specifically, try to ward your flanks more on pushes. There were several times where Master Yi and Leona either did flank you or could have flanked you. So, you do not want darkness on your sides when you're split pushing. Shot call more. Be the voice of reason on your team. Watch my shot calling section of my how to support overview video, a guide that's also on the main channel. On the front page. I won't link that one here. There's already quite a bit of links into this, but see it right here, how to carry a support and overview. Watch the shot calling section of this, and it will help you figure out how to make different calls. But you need to get your team to group up. That's the big thing, is everyone is always split up, kind of doing their own thing a lot of that game, and people are just getting caught, engaged on, and everyone's just kind of on autopilot. You know, they're just not paying attention to what needs to be done to win the game. They're just kind of in their own zone, you know, listening to some music and just on autopilot. And you need to, like, direct them, pull them in, get them to do what they need to do. And then finally, be more careful with Baron calls. So, you guys should not have been doing Baron. And yeah, maybe it wasn't your idea to go there, I'm not sure. But you need to ping back. Like, if you just go along with something and you're not the person who's speaking up, then, you know, you're part of it, right? You're complicit in it. So, you need to be the person who speaks up and says, no, do not do this Baron right now. Like, ping back like 5 times. This is too dangerous. Just question mark the people in base, or maybe that might make them mad, but just ping their picture or something and say they're not here. Don't do it. You know, just ping a lot, say don't do it, and go get them to go do the dragon instead. That was a much safer play right there. So just be the voice of reason. It fits in with shot calling, but particularly around Baron, for the reasons I described earlier, you want to be very careful. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. For anyone watching out there, if you want a coaching video, you can just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you want to see more videos in the coaching playlist, click on this link here. If you want to see more champion guides, including the Soraka guide, among others, you can click on the champion guides here. So thanks again to Ace DJ for your generous donation. I really appreciate it, and I'll see everybody next time. Have a good day.